Most people believe buying a house is the smartest financial decision you can ever make. It's what parents recommend, what society celebrates, and what almost every financial ad pushes as the ultimate goal. Buy a house, stop renting, build equity, and secure your future. That's the story we've all been told. But what if that story is incomplete? What if buying a house, especially at the wrong time, is actually one of the biggest reasons people stay financially stuck for decades? Here's the uncomfortable truth most people never hear. Buying a house does not automatically make you wealthy. In many cases, it does the opposite. It locks you into long-term debt, limits your flexibility, and quietly drains your ability to build real wealth. And the reason this trap is so powerful is because it feels responsible, safe, and mature, even when it's financially damaging. Let's start with how most people buy a house. They don't buy it because it's a strategic wealth move. They buy it because they feel pressured. Pressure from family, pressure from friends, pressure from social media, pressure from the idea that renting means you're failing. So the moment they can afford a down payment, they jump in. They don't ask whether it's the best use of their money. They ask whether the bank will approve them. And that's the first red flag. Bank approval does not mean financial readiness. It just means you qualify for debt. When you buy a house, you're not just buying walls and a roof. You're buying a 20 to 30-year obligation. You're committing future income that you haven't even earned yet. Every month, before you invest, before you save aggressively, before you take risks, the house gets paid first. That single decision reshapes your entire financial life. Most people only look at the monthly mortgage payment and think, this is cheaper than rent. But the mortgage is just the beginning. Property taxes rise, insurance goes up, repairs never stop. Maintenance is constant. One broken HVAC system can wipe out months of savings. A roof replacement can cost more than an entire year of investing for the average person. None of that builds wealth, it just keeps the house functioning. And here's something rarely discussed. When you own a house, the minimum you will ever pay is your mortgage. When you rent, the maximum you will ever pay is your rent. That difference matters more than people realize. There's also the issue of liquidity. Money locked inside a house is not easily accessible. If you need cash for an emergency, an investment opportunity, or a career move, you can't quickly access your home equity without taking on more debt. Your wealth is trapped. That lack of liquidity kills opportunity. Now let's talk about opportunity cost, because this is where most people completely lose the plot. Opportunity cost is what your money could have done if it wasn't locked somewhere else. Every dollar tied up in a house is a dollar that's not invested in stocks, businesses, skills, or income-producing assets. Over decades, that cost compounds massively. A house might appreciate at a modest rate, but it doesn't compound the way scalable assets do. And when you factor in inflation, interest paid to the bank, taxes, and upkeep, the real return is often far lower than people expect. Many homeowners don't actually profit from their home until decades later, if at all.
There's also a psychological cost that doesn't show up on spreadsheets. Home ownership creates a false sense of security. People feel settled, stable, and done. That feeling often kills urgency. Instead of asking how to grow faster, people start focusing on maintaining what they have. Growth thinking gets replaced by protection thinking. This mindset shift is subtle but dangerous. You become less willing to take career risks, less willing to start a business, less willing to relocate for better opportunities. The house becomes an anchor, and anchors don't help you move forward. This is why so many people feel financially stuck despite doing everything right. They bought a house, they work hard, they pay bills, and yet they're always stressed about money. The house didn't free them, it trapped them. Now here's where things get really interesting. If buying a house is such a powerful wealth move, why do so many extremely wealthy people choose to rent? Why have people like Elon Musk openly said they rent or live in modest homes? Is it because they can't afford a house? Obviously not. It's because they understand something most people don't. Wealthy people separate lifestyle decisions from wealth-building decisions. They don't confuse comfort with growth. They don't tie their identity to ownership. They prioritize flexibility, liquidity, and opportunity over appearances. For someone building wealth, renting can actually be a strategic advantage. Renting allows you to keep capital free. It allows you to move quickly. It allows you to invest aggressively. It allows you to say yes to opportunities without worrying about being tied down. This doesn't mean owning a house is bad in every situation. It means buying a house too early is often a mistake. Order matters. Timing matters. Buying a house before you've built strong income streams and investment habits puts the cart before the horse. Another myth people cling to is the idea of forced savings through a mortgage. Yes, paying a mortgage forces you to build equity, but it also forces you to commit money inefficiently. Forced savings is not a substitute for intelligent investing. And for many people, the equity they build is offset by the opportunity they lose.
There's also the risk factor no one likes to talk about: job loss, health issues, market downturns. When you're renting, these events are stressful. When you own, they can be catastrophic. The house doesn't care about your situation. The bank doesn't pause payments because life got hard. And here's another uncomfortable truth. Most people's house becomes their entire retirement plan. They assume one day they'll sell it and everything will be fine. That's a risky bet. Markets change, expenses rise. Selling still leaves you needing somewhere to live. And relying on one non-income producing asset for retirement is the opposite of diversification. Real wealth is built through cash flow, assets that generate income, systems that work without your constant effort. A primary residence does none of that. It consumes cash instead of producing it. The real reason buying a house keeps many people poor isn't the house itself. It's what the house prevents them from doing. It prevents them from investing early and aggressively. It prevents them from taking risks when they're young. It prevents them from thinking long-term.
And this is the re-hook most people miss. The problem isn't buying a house. The problem is believing that buying a house means you've made it. That belief ends the game before it really begins. If buying a house forces you to live paycheck to paycheck, reduces your investing power, increases your stress, and limits your options, then it's not building wealth, it's delaying it. The goal isn't ownership. The goal is freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of choice, freedom from financial stress. And sometimes the smartest financial decision you can make is the one that looks irresponsible to people who don't understand money. Buying a house can wait. Building wealth cannot. Once you understand that, you stop chasing the illusion of security and start building real financial power. And that shift alone can change the entire direction of your life.